the board and see how it's received. I think that, as I understand, and I definitely want to get to questions and things like that, but I think that there are two issues here. One is support of a Peru village in concept, and another of where it happens to be. And I believe that, I think you used the term opposition. I think that there are people who maybe are saying I'm here, but I would love to be able to break this down into two parts, where we make a motion about Peru village in concept, and that we move to support that in concept, and then we maybe deal with the issue of location later. How does the board feel like that, or is there a motion about that now?
I think we need to at least designate an area that we somewhat feel comfortable with. Anything that encroaches or infringes on the entertainment district, I strongly oppose.
Okay. And what I'm suggesting is that we break it into two separate things.
And
if there's not support for that, that's fine. We can then move on to questions and answers. Yes. We would take a position in concept. All I'm suggesting is it was a way to break it down. If that's not the will of the board, I'm certainly fine with that, and we can then go on to questions and answers.
I appreciate you trying to break it down, because I think that is a way of making it speedier, but I also think it should be, we should just have a motion. These are the boundaries that if we support it, this is it.
Okay. So we typically will start with questions and answers from the board, and then we'll have a few other questions and answers from the audience. So we definitely will be getting to that. So would you like to?
Just questions or comments?
Questions and comments.
You guys kind of know my position, and I really support you, and I am very impressed by your organization and just your presentation.
Thank you.
If we clap for every positive comment. So let's if we could potentially, let's kind of move through this. I would like to get to the point where we can get something accomplished today, and that's going to require us to keep moving on, because I made sure that, because there are so many people here for this issue, I made sure that we could deal with it early in case people had other things to do. Well, everybody's welcome to stay, but I do want to kind of move a little bit more. So if I could have your indulgence, I would appreciate it.
Let me finish.
Yeah.
So I'm taking it very seriously. I looked, I listened. I do have a problem with the form letters of, some of the people that have signed off as being supporters. I've been through this a lot in planning, and I know that if I go and do my due diligence and check, and was the assistant manager allowed to speak for Office Depot or this or that, or who this person is, you kind of get a different story. And form letters for me don't hold a lot of weight. And that goes with especially the businesses that want to move in, that are saying, I'm studying the possibility of opening my business in Peru Village, designated area in Hollywood. It's just, it's a little weak, but I do want to support you, and that my position is the boundaries are going to be smaller than you're seeking. I just don't see a Peru area like we see Thai Town, Chinatown, etc., like we talked about at the last meeting. But
Lori? Tricia? Grant? Debbie?
I'd like to thank you for coming back. I know that I was certainly one of those that said, please come back with more information. And I can see that you did come back, and I understand what David is saying. I appreciate what David is saying, and you did very much follow what it is that I was asking you to do. At the same time, I think that you did hit on one of the realities here in Los Angeles and in Hollywood. We have so many different people of so many different places, and we are the hub of outside of their homeland. And as much as I support the idea of having a place that you can call your village, I'm still concerned about the breadth of the size that you want to cut out. The precedent that you're setting, and I think then you can make it very easy for others to say, oh, we've been here for X amount of time, and so we want this section, somebody else wants this section, we can have 60 sections of Hollywood. Anyway, good intentions. I appreciate the work that you did. I support your concept. I'm having problems with the size. It just still doesn't click as to why it needs to be such a large chunk.
Ellen, did you have any? Okay. So, I know that there are a lot of people here who are here to speak, and there are people who are here to just just listen. So, can I have just anybody who would like to speak on this issue?
We do have.
In any way?
We do have speaker cards.
We're going to have more than that. So, but I'm happy to go to those first. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'll open it up a little bit, but I'd like to stick, to the extent that we can, I'd like to stick to the 11 that wanted to speak. And Linda, we will start because we do have some people who filled out their cards.
Some of the 11 are out.
Great. So where do we
First
start?
Kathleen Taylor.
Ms. Taylor?
I thought I'd make mark the other box.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But I'll say something. I think that I don't understand how one special interest group can come into what I believe is the melting pot. Hollywood. Okay, when I say Hollywood, I live on Cahuenga and Fountain. I own a little house there. There's all different kinds of people there, and there's actors and there's writers, and to just all of a sudden name it Peru Village changes the whole idea of what it's there for. Okay, it's there to have actors come and live there for 2 years and then leave their mattress on the corner, okay? And some of them make it, and some of them don't, okay? And they're all different colors, okay? They're not from Peru. Okay, please don't do this. Thank you.
Mr. Kenzie, do you wish to speak?
Yes, I do. Good evening. I didn't come to speak about this issue, but after hearing you, I watched the Thai town being developed. I watched Little Armenia being developed. It was an outcome of a process. It wasn't have one restaurant and a couple of signs. So what I ask you to do is, for those folks that want to move into our neighborhoods, let them move into our neighborhood. And let us make it an outcome of a process. I was in support of the Thai town. I was in support of Little Armenia because it was an outcome of the process. And you see their culture there on display. Not just the food, you see the music, you see the art. So make it part of the process and get involved in this community regardless if you have the 2 signs that the city is going to give you. Make it a de facto a Peru village by bringing people here, have them do business here, have them shop here, and make it a de facto Peru village. Thank you very much.
That's it.
I think there were more people over here, so whoever raised their hand if you want to just, okay. I'm going to go ahead and start. I can do it reverse, but I'm going to go ahead and start over here since I started counting over here, so I'll let you go. And then when he's done, I know the next 2 of you wanted to both speak as well, so that's kind of the street. Okay, you'll be next unless there's somebody in between. Is anybody else over here who raised their hand before? Okay, you're up.
All right. My name is Brian Reese. I'm a resident of Hollywood, and quite frankly, I don't see why the Peru Village should be considered a special interest. I think their interest is contributing to the economy of Hollywood, and I think their interest is pretty much what everybody else's interest is, and I think they deserve a place here. You have so many Peruvian Americans who are involved with organizations like Bring Hollywood Home, for example, who are trying to bring production Hollywood. You've got Koreanka Kilcher, who's made all of these attempts to unify Hollywood and unify Hollywood and human rights activism, and use that as a way to bring more jobs to Hollywood. And I just don't understand why people are saying that this is some kind of special interest group. I think that they belong and deserve this, because it's going to bring so much more. Because I mean, what are the problems with this area? There's urban blight. There's all these things with the educational ideas that they have, with everything that they have in this proposal. I think it's a great idea, and it deserves our support. Thank you.
Who else? Back over here. Steve, you have anything to add?
Yeah,
Yours. Okay. We're going to kind of take this coming around.
Just gonna read. Okay. I forgot my glasses, so sorry. My name is Irma Garate. I just want to answer a question, why now? There is still a large portion of first-generation Peruvian Americans. Senator Durbin from Illinois said, in the flow of American history, this happens over and over again, he said. When emerging groups become a political force, they are given respect and recognition under the law, and they become part of the power establishment of America. And this is the moment for the Hispanic population. That's all I can say.
George, you and Ferris? Yeah. And you had your hand up, right?
I've heard the word opposition and discrimination, and I want to treat this as a proper adult conversation so that we never go in that direction. And I also feel like we're having two very different discussions. One is this beautiful discussion of history and people's lives here and growing up here and working here, and that's all understood completely 100%. It's not an issue of debate, it's not an issue of contention, it's not an argument. And I just want to be 100% clear on that, so, sir, that what you told me before the meeting never comes up again, because I just feel like that's going in the wrong direction.
Excuse me? I didn't hear it. What do you say?
I'm just saying what we talked about before the meeting.
What did we talk about?
Okay.
You
So,
came up, you walked up to me.
Okay. George, I'll let you finish if you would. If you have something to say, please go ahead.
in that sense, this is not an opposition situation, and I have to be very clear on that. My whole issue from the beginning of this stemmed from one thing, which is I didn't feel as though there should be any designation signs in Hollywood other than Hollywood. That's how this all began. There was no other issue. There was no, I didn't wake up one day and say, God damn it, I hate Peru, let me go fight this. Just to be 100% clear, and I want to keep saying that so you understand. I'm a resident of Hollywood, I own several businesses in Hollywood, and I also employ 75 Latinos, in case that comes up as well, plus a total of 165 people in Hollywood. My issue is that this area, the core of Hollywood, is so historically significant that it should remain simply as Hollywood. Because Hollywood is the world's most famous neighborhood. And calling it anything else, or renaming it, or naming it anything else, would just be, I mean, wrong at the end of the day. I wrote this thing, and I'm going to read just a brief part of it. An admirable and commendable group named Peru Village has filed documents with the city of Los Angeles to name or rename the area bordered by Sunset, etc., you know the detail. Although the idea of Peru Village is beautiful, and although it's widely understood that they have a great culture, we all have great cultures, that's not the discussion of this. The issue here is to maintain the core of Hollywood and all the signs and streets, given the sheer magnitude of what Hollywood represents. Now, I don't know if I should spend time going through all the detail, because a lot of people
You
know.
have about 15 seconds, so. 15.
At the end of the day, the The issue is all about putting a sub-designation sign in an already named historic corridor. And I know that you guys changed the boundaries from Hancock Park because they requested you to, and you moved it up 1 block. But the best thing I can say, if I can read all this, comes from your own Facebook page, which says, many Peruvians chose Hollywood, California as their U.S. residential destination in the 60s and 70s and settled in Peru's village proposed area. Attracted by the glamour that Hollywood movie stars had inundated Peru with, many young and vibrant Peruvians followed, I'm sorry if I mispronounce this, Yuma Sumac steps, and came to study professional careers to work and make their dream a reality. In these pictures, etc., the Peruvians here. There's no greater irony than this. That's why everybody's here, is because it's Hollywood. That's the point, that's my point. Everything.
Thank you.
Thank you, sorry.
Oliver, I think you're first.
Just one, I think there's a third restaurant maybe that you missed is at the corner of Melrose and Cuenca, I believe, from the Pod Mall next to Terry's. I believe there's a Peruvian restaurant. I'm not sure if you read it. I think I'm not sure if they referenced that. Yeah, just so I'm just wondering, you know, first off, I don't really have a stake in this, I'm on the board, but if, you know, given that you guys have heard so much, we won't say opposition, but, you know, discussion, if there have been any considerations of modifying boundaries so as to be more sympathetic to what the community may be more comfortable with. The boundaries that you currently propose include the fire station and the police station. And I'm not sure if that has a Peruvian significance to it, or the arc light. I'm not sure if that has a Peruvian significance to it. So, you know, they're sort of very obtuse boundaries that you picked. Are there boundaries which maybe could be modified, as opposed to having the board come in and say, we want it this way? Maybe there's something that you guys are more amenable to, which is sympathetic or to what the community is looking for. And then just another sort of side note. You know, I've been with the Neighborhood Council for about 3 years or so now. And I haven't really seen any Peruvian, you know, outreach or involvement in the Neighborhood Council. You know, we're not the only people that you need to come speak to, but, you know, it would be nice to sort of have some sort of outreach other than when you're coming now before us for them for their Peru Village. And then just sort of as a from a planner, I wonder if you guys have had any involvement with Paramount Studios. They have a major project coming in, which is going to have a huge effect on this area and essentially Peru Village. And if you guys have such a stake in this area, have you had any involvement in their development, and have you had any you know, consultation with them?
I'll give you an opportunity to answer those questions. There's at least two in there. Was there anybody else? Steve? And is that over here?
Council, which is your neighbors to the east. And while we have not taken official action on this, actually we're going to have a presentation in March, the second Monday of March at 6:30 p.m. Our board members did express concerns, which have been expressed tonight, which is we would like to see the historic core of Hollywood protected, and we're concerned about sub-districts within that area. And we didn't see anywhere in the application any census data or anything that kind of substantiated such a redistricting or rebranding of the proposed area. So we look forward to the presentation in March. However, our board is very concerned with the current application. And I would like to say also, it's very encouraging to hear how the history of Hollywood is recognized tonight, and that it's always been very welcoming to everybody. Everybody's welcome here, and it doesn't need to be rebranded.
David Ambrose.
The history of Hollywood is recognized tonight, and that it's always been very welcoming to everybody. Everybody's welcome here, and it doesn't need to be rebranded.
David Ambrose, and I'll just be brief because it's all been said. I didn't come here tonight on this issue, but I would just say I agree. I don't think Hollywood needs a rebrand. I would hate to see the balkanization of the community like this, because there could be a lot of meritorious claims in different areas. I haven't heard, just from kind of a lawyer's background, a real case being made with actual numbers or population data or anything of that nature. I admire the history. I too came here for opportunity to Hollywood. I would like to rename my neighborhood. I'm not being facetious either. It's got a historic homes built by Paramount to house actors, and I think it'd be cool to acknowledge that history. But I just don't want to see Hollywood have a bunch of different brands in it. And Vine is for me, is one of our signature streets in Hollywood besides the Boulevard. And I came here for C in this area, which is too many signs in Hollywood. And so I just want to see less clutter, more Hollywood as a community. And I think by just keep dividing, that's all that this is doing, but by noting differences and similarities, we do bring attention to something when we're just also mixed together in this community, which I love so very much. So I think in theory I understand and emotionally support, but I think at the end of the day I have to say as a resident here and a long time community member, I would rather not see Hollywood. So I did.
Thank you, everybody. Are the boundaries acceptable? Have you thought about that? Has there been any conflict with Paramount Studios? And David brought up, I think, two things. One of them was you've heard of, you have not heard the population data
To the area proposed, or even close to it, census tract, any of that data.
Maybe that's.
We heard Southern California, but that's a very big area.
Okay. So just wanted to give you an opportunity. You can tag team.
Sure, I'll just briefly say,
I want to give you like 2 or 3 minutes to kind of go through and answer some of those questions.
thank you. I'll just share with, obviously say that we will reach out to the studio, Paramount, and we will have an appointment for next week.
And then as far as population data, like I had mentioned before, there is no exact census data because Peruvians don't identify themselves as Peruvians on census. Because we're so multiracial, they identify themselves as African American or Asian American or something else. Even the consulate doesn't have exact numbers. And so there are approximate numbers. They say there's 120,000 Peruvians in Southern California. That number's not exact, it's grossly underestimated. So again, there isn't, exact numbers, census for Peruvians throughout the nation.
Regarding boundaries, we have made a proposition to the LA City, and of course that is brought to your attention here. We have explained what our proposition was based on. You guys as a neighborhood council can make a counter proposition, but that's what we have proposed, and based on those facts that we explained, that for us history is also important, and Hollywood being also part of Latino history, and Latin and being part of our Peruvian history. We're not here to rename or to change. We're here to add, to beautify, to embellish, to revitalize, to partner, to make a partnership with you. I know that there is a large population of Hispanics in the area, in the proposed area. There is a large area that needs to be revitalized. We were extremely welcome. People were telling us, we need this, we need that, we need that. Actors and actresses, they're saying, this is great, this will be great for our neighborhood. We have them in picture, we have them in video, because they embrace cultural inclusion, which is not cultural exclusion. It's not, okay, we want you to have your Peruvian community, but not in our neighborhood. Well, if we want to be culturally included in LA, by history, our roots are here. So this will be our place to be culturally included. That's why we propose the area, not because we just went and said this or that. We have some people that are telling you our story here, our history here. As Flavio said, we then spread out, because we came here, the Peruvian community is a very hard-working community. Came here to study, progress. We are kind of humble. We don't make much noise. We don't say, by the way, we are Peruvian, unless there is a restaurant, you will see the Peruvian there, Peruvian sign there. Sorry, I didn't want to give it back to you. But, and as Tanya said, we kind of mimetize with the multiculturalism of LA, because like we have African American Peruvian, we have Asian American Peruvian, we have European Peruvians, we have indigenous Peruvians, so our mix of races is like the mix of races of LA. But to be culturally included in this city, it should be in the place that we feel that we belong, where we started, where it's iconic for us, because we achieved the American dream here. And if Hollywood says, okay, you can be included, but not in my neighborhood, that is our neighborhood too, what can we expect from the rest of LA?
Thank you very much. So at this point, I'm sorry? I think you've had enough time. Because this is not about a back and forth where everybody's had an opportunity to kind of get everything out of the gym, which I think is a wonderful thing. So at this point, one Peruvian
We'll
business.
bring plenty.
But
I think Ferris had
one Peruvian restaurant, because it's just the seafood restaurant that's on. The other ones are on the south side. Are on the south side.
So there's one.
Yes.
Okay.
But that's just a restaurant, that's not, everything. So, okay, so I'm gonna call for a question, all in favor?
Who seconded?
Debbie.
Yeah, we accepted it.
All in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, it's unanimous. So, so I appreciate you all coming out tonight. We are going to move on. So what we have is we will write a letter to your organization in support of Peru Village and a smaller boundaries. So that's where this group's coming down. And I wish you luck on getting what it is that you want, and what we support at this point. So thank you for coming out. I appreciate you coming out. I know it's like your third try, second time to actually being here. So we are going to move on to the rest of the agenda. If anybody would like to stay, you're certainly welcome to. As I've said, if you're going to leave, if you would do so quickly, so that because it is a room that I can't be heard. So if anybody does not want to stay, please feel free to take a sandwich with you or a mop or anything like that. If you want to stay, more power to you.
Thank you, Scott.
Okay.
Thank you.